So it's a way to do it, Obehi, but whether or not we'll take the time to actually do it the correct way, I don't know. And until we do it, then Black people will continually be policed and the other people get protected and served. That's othering. That's systemic racism. I would love to be protected and served instead of policed.
All right. That is a very powerful statement. And I would like us to explore it a little bit more. You see, a couple of days ago, I interviewed a US historian uh, who have also, the topic of the conversation was critical race theory. And it was a conversation that we had here for, it was really very interesting. At the point I was saying, because since most of African American who are dying in the hand of the police are usually die in the hand of white police, that one automatically lead to the question, are there lack of Black police to police those people? Because that is actually, I think, where we are dragging the argument to just now. Because since this is something that is happening again and again and again, I want to believe somebody is taking the pain, the time to say, okay, let's study the situation. Let's find out what is happening. So, as a historian, have you found some document that suggests that there should be a better way of policing in the United States? Because I did also make an example yesterday when I was interviewing another historian in the US, that when I watch a Law and Order, for example, I see these very intelligent US police officers who are doing the job of policing. In most of the cases, they don't just go around and start shooting and bringing the dead body to the law court. They bring a living human being to the law court after they have managed to arrest him or her. But what we see on the street, in most of the cases, at least the one that they show on the news, is a policeman succeeding in killing somebody, and the person is a criminal. But what is the evidence to show that the dead person is a criminal if he cannot talk? Because dead people don't talk. That is why I'm asking for your help. Is there any evidence to the proper policing of the people?
There is a movement, and researchers have documented the need for what we call community policing. Community policing. So the people whose job it is to protect and serve are a part of the community that they are protecting and serving. Now, I don't know how far this research has gone. For example, has it gone far enough to study the mortality through police shooting that occurs from police who are actually living in and around and near the communities they protect and serve, as opposed to police officers that are protecting and serving communities that they are not a part of? And so there is a movement, community policing, so that people can look at a very simple thing called relationships. What are the relationships between the police and the communities that they're supposed to be protecting and serving? There's something to be said about relationship. There's something to be said about the people who are being policed seeing you as friend, seeing you as help, seeing you as assistance, seeing you with more respect than fear. Unfortunately, we've got respect and fear confused. So if people respect you, they don't need to fear you, and you don't need to exert your authority in the form of violence because you've got the respect. When they see you, they see law and order, if I may use a proverb. But like I said, Obehi, I don't know if people are really willing to do the work that it takes to accomplish what I'm talking about. It's going to take work to build relationships. You can't train systemic racism out of people. You can't train bigotry out of somebody. They have to have a process. They have to change over time, and they have to have motivation and incentives that will cause them to want to go through that process. And not all of them need to be punitive and negative. One of the most beautiful things that happen in life are having meaningful, deep fulfilling relationships. I've heard of not one person who, with their dying breath, said, "Oh, I wish I had spent at least 5 more years on my job, because then could have gotten 2 more certificates. Oh, I wish I had paid off the house in a 15-year mortgage instead of the 30, because then I could." Nobody is sitting around talking about their regrets of their bad financial decisions. "Oh, I wish I had been able to at least get my credit up to 750 as I take my last breath." Most folk, if they have any regrets and they're talking about things that they wish they had done differently, are talking about some form of a relationship, who they could have forgiven, who they could have loved, who they could have talked to again, who they could have seen. So if relationships are critical enough for people who are dying to be thinking about that, come on, why not those of us who are very much alive and very healthy? Why don't we start looking at everything in our lives in terms of the health of that relationship? It would do, you talking about change the world. If we were talking about how healthy are my relationships with our police, how healthy are our relationships with our grocers, how healthy are our relationships? That's the biggest threat to the prison industrial complex right there. I don't even have to go on and on about Black men disproportionately being incarcerated. I just need to ask people, how healthy is our relationship when it comes to rehabilitating criminals? How healthy are those relationships while they're in there and what they're supposed to be learning and doing? How healthy is that?
You see, before when you were explaining, I think I was tempted to ask you whether the fear is actually be manipulated, because I believe the society is in control of certain situations somehow. Is by society, I mean those who are the custodians of the society. Every one of us are part of the system, but we are not at the driver's wheel of how the
Correct.
system actually functions. Because this is the reason we volunteer part of our power to somebody to represent us.
Correct.
Those people we call government.
Correct.
That power they actually have come from the people. That is why they are powerful, because people gave them power. Otherwise, they are just like every other person. With me, we are all equal. You see, several thousands of years ago, before human beings could organize a society, we could really do what we like, really. If I'm stronger than you, I kill you. Then I take whatever I that you have.
Sure.
But in a lawful society, where we have the powerful, we have delegated, we have given part of our power to them to run over us. I don't think people really should do whatever they like all the time. Like, for example, okay, I just choose to kill somebody because I like to do that. Have I asked the other person, do you like to be killed? In this sense, I think the information that comes to people is not really as a kind of neutral information. There are rules, there are laws, there are order. There is no, okay, there are some little bit of chaos sometimes, but the society is run by rules and regulation. By this, I am trying to ask, is it a burden, is it a worry to somebody that the system is the way it is today? That we are mourning, I don't know, maybe 10 people that are killed in a mass shooting today. Tomorrow, another one is going to happen. While we are in the funeral of those people that are dead, maybe 40 people or 20 people, who knows how many, we are thinking, when is it going to happen again next time? Is this one not worrying people who are in charge? Because they are powerful. We have given them power to be in charge. That is the question.
I don't debate or disagree with anything that you said. In the United States, we have a Republican system in which we use voting to put people in place that we believe are going to protect the best interest of their constituents. And hopefully everyone has elected officials, because not everyone's constituents are the same. And so I believe that our country has a really good model, a really good ideal. So I don't debate anything that you have said. But what's interesting about where we are right now, in my opinion, Obeki, is that social media has created an alternative universe, if you will, in which the person with the power is the person that's able to win people over to follow them and support them. We've even created a whole new lingo for these people, influencers, right? So they weren't elected. They may not even be rich. They may not even be cute, because that's cute currency, Obey. So they're maybe not cute. They weren't elected. They don't have a bunch of money, but for whatever reason, whatever content they have is resonating with enough people that those people are following them.